Okay, so let's talk about the International Baccalaureate, or IB. You've probably heard the name, right? It's got this big reputation for being super prestigious, recognized all over the world, and, well, let's be honest, for being incredibly tough. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see what it's actually all about. This really is the big question, isn't it? It's what every student and parent wants to know. Is this reputation for being ridiculously difficult actually deserved? Well, over the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down, piece by piece, and find out what the IB program is really like. All right, first things first. Before we can even judge how hard it is, we need to get a handle on the basics. What exactly are students signing up for here? At the very heart of the IB diploma are 6 subjects. Yep, every single student takes 6 courses, and these cover a whole range of disciplines, from the sciences to languages to the arts. But see, it's not just about taking 6 subjects. It's about how you take them. They're split into 2 types, 3 at higher level, or HL, and 3 at standard level, SL. You can think of the HL subjects as the real deep dives. They've got more content, go into way more detail, and they're usually the ones that matter most for the courses you want to take in college. And here's what's so important to understand. The difficulty doesn't just come from what you learn, but how you learn it. The IB is all about critical thinking. You're going to be doing a ton of writing and analysis, which is a huge shift if you're used to just memorizing facts for a test. But the 6 subjects? That's only part of the story. The IB also has these 3 mandatory core components that really make it different from any other program out there. Honestly, this is where a lot of the pressure comes from, so let's break them down. First up, we have the theory of knowledge, or TOK. Now, this one can feel a little weird and confusing at first. The entire point of it is to make you step back and ask, how do we even know what we think we know? Think of it like a philosophy class designed to make you a sharper thinker and see the connections between all your other subjects. Next, there's the extended essay, or the EE. This is basically a college-level independent research paper, and the best part? You get to pick your own topic. It's a massive project, for sure, but it's also an amazing challenge that gets you ready for academic work like nothing else. And just to give you a sense of scale here, we're talking about a paper that's up to 4,000 words long. Yeah, that requires some serious planning, a lot of research, and a ton of dedication to get done right. And finally, we've got CAS. That stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service. It's all about making sure you're doing stuff outside of your classes, playing a sport, volunteering in your community, learning an instrument. And let me be perfectly clear, this is not optional. If you don't finish your CAS hours, you don't get the diploma. I don't care if you get perfect scores on your exams, no CAS means no diploma. So you've got all these different parts. How does that actually play out in the day-to-day life of an IB student? Because understanding the components is one thing, but managing the actual workload, that's the real test. This is the one I hear all the time. People are terrified that doing the IB means you have to lock yourself in your room for 2 years. But the truth is, you absolutely can have a social life. The key, as this quote says, is time management. It's a skill you're basically forced to learn, and you learn it fast. Here's another really important piece of the puzzle. Your final grade isn't decided by one big exam at the very end. All through the 2 years, for each subject, you'll be doing these things called internal assessments, or IAs. These are projects, essays, lab reports, and they all count directly toward your final score. So what is the single biggest mistake that IB students make? Procrastination. Without a doubt. Trying to cram all those IAs and the extended essay into the last minute is just a recipe for disaster. The only way to succeed is to spread that work out, start your projects early, and just keep hitting those deadlines one by one. Okay, so we know what the work is. Let's talk about the results. How is all of this hard work actually graded, and what do those final scores even mean? The whole thing is scored out of a possible 45 points. So to pass and actually get the diploma, you need at least 24 points. A score over 30 is usually seen as pretty solid. And if you're trying to get into one of those top-tier universities, you're probably going to be aiming for 40 points or higher. And when you get to those final exams, you got to remember that key theme we talked about. It is all about application. These tests are designed to see if you really get the concepts, not just if you memorized them. That's why practicing with old exam papers is the best way to study. It gets you used to the way they ask questions so you can show what you actually know. And that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? After all of that work, all that stress, is it actually worth it when it comes to your future? For most students, the answer is a huge yes. I mean, sure, universities all over the world love to see the IB diploma on an application, but it's more than that. The skills you're forced to develop, like the independent research for the EE, the critical thinking from TOK, and just the insane time management you learn from juggling everything, those are the exact skills you need to do well in college and honestly in life. So, is the IB hard? Yeah, it absolutely is. It's designed to be a challenge. It demands a ton of consistent effort and a lot of independence. But, the real question isn't just, is the IB hard? It's, are you ready for the challenge? And after hearing all this, well, that's a question only you can answer.